सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to this special program of ours which is Sahyog, Guidance for Mental Well-being of the Children. My name is Tanvi Khurana and at this moment you're watching us on eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12. And you're also watching us on our YouTube channel, that is ncertofficial. If you have any questions, any queries, please reach out to us. The topic that we are going to discuss today is strategies for coping examination anxiety. We all know that students these days face anxiety during the examination, and there are some strategies that they can use and they are going to be helpful for the students. So we are going to discuss those strategies today. For any questions, any queries regarding these strategies regarding the examination anxiety, please give us a call on our number, that is 844-844-0632. And also another number is 8800440559. Well, you can also reach out to us with the help of our email ID, that is sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. And for another medium, we have our YouTube channel. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions, queries and share them with us. We have two experts with us and they'll be more than happy to answer all your doubts, all your queries. Let me please introduce them to all of you. Our first guest is Mrs. Uma Rani. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am is from Regional Institute of Education, NCERT, Mysuru. And along with her, we have a practicing counselor, and she is Miss Sadikutti Shweta. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaskar. So let's begin with this conversation without further ado, and because we are discussing examination anxieties strategies, so let's understand what exactly is examination anxiety. I would request Shweta ma'am to answer this question. Ma'am, would you like to share the basic definition of examination anxiety with all our viewers, and also would you like to tell us what are the indications for anxiety in the students? What are those signs and symptoms through which the parents or teachers can judge that yes, there is some anxiety issues that the student is facing? Ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much for the question, ma'am. So before going to that discussion, students, we all know that examination is right around the corner. And you might be feeling so much of anxiety, so much of restlessness, and so much of sleepless nights, right? So before understanding all these things, do you know what exactly is anxiety? Okay, for understanding that, let us take a similar situation. Okay, imagine that you're discussing with your friend about a topic. You tell your views, your thoughts, your opinions, everything, right? There is no pressure now. You're telling your thoughts openly. Now imagine a similar situation where teacher asks you to come out in front of the class and tell your thoughts in the similar way. Do you think you can do it in the same fashion? No, right? You might be feeling your hands are trembling, you're sweating, all these things are happening. You might be feeling butterflies in your stomach and all those things. So this feeling is anxiety. So anxiety is normal. It's our body's reaction to a challenge. So it is normal. But it becomes a problem when it is excessive, when it is more than that. It's a problem when it is more, and it can hinder your day-to-day activities and your well-being also. And it also happens that anxiety differs from student to student. For some people, coming out and speaking out in public is not an anxiety. They think as a challenging situation. But for some people, it is difficult. So it is perceived differently. So some things are stressful for some students and are stressful for some other students. So anxiety. So we know exams are right around the corner, right? Yes. So let us move on to the next slide and see what is examination anxiety. So this examination anxiety occurs before the exam, during the exam, and even after the examinations. So even researchers have proved that students who are having examination anxiety tend to perform a little less in their academics. So first we need to cope up with the examination anxiety. For coping up with examination anxiety, we need to first recognize what are the signs and symptoms so that we can cope up with them. So let us check what are the signs and symptoms or what are the indications to understand that students are undergoing anxiety during their examinations. You can see some changes in the emotions, in their behaviors, in their cognition abilities, and even you can find out some physical traits also. So let us move to the next slide and see what are the physical traits you can find out if a student is having examination anxiety. You can see that a student is sweating so much, or they're having nausea, stomach problems. Their hands are shaking or shivering. They're unnecessarily getting very angry. And you can find out that students are having, or students you themselves can find out that your heart rate is more or your heart is beating faster. And you can have like a panic attack kind of thing. And you can take long, deep, long breaths, or you can sometimes have shortness of breath. And coming to the next slide, we can see that even it sometimes happens that students can be restless. They're preparing so much, they're becoming restless. And they can sometimes complain of stomach pains and run to the hospital or nurse in the school. They can display some changes in their eating and sleeping habits. Parents can find out this much more easier if they are facing a difficulty in eating and sleeping habits. And they can sometimes talk about so much negative thoughts like, I can't do this is not for me. You can find out those things. And they can easily get upset or angry very quickly for small issues. And they can sometimes cry out or have an emotional breakdown during this time. And the most important thing is they can have struggle in concentration because there are so many thoughts running in their mind. It will be difficult for them to concentrate during this time. Okay, so now let us move and check if what are the other things that are there in cognition. So we know that they're having difficulty in concentrating, right? Because of this, even during examinations, it happens, right? As soon as they see the question paper, we forget what all answers we are remembering. So these are memory lapses. And while studying also, they're having many attention disruptions. And sometimes it so happens that students will have trouble in understanding the question. They may read the question, but they write the answer for the other thing. Because it's a trouble in understanding. This happens during examinations. And there is proven research studies that when a student is having examination anxiety, their critical thinking ability reduces. And their answering of higher order thinking questions reduces also. And small questions of problem solving and all those things will become very much difficult for them. A small formula, writing it down and solving it becomes difficult for them. And they sometimes tend to confuse also. Is the answer correct or not? So all these things are some indications for us to understand that student is facing some exam anxiety.
Okay. And ma'am, you also said that this anxiety affects negatively on the student's performance. So would you like to explain certain points that why this happens?
Yes, ma'am, surely. Thank you for the question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. So one thing before answering this question is, it is not that students having examination anxiety tend to have less IQ. That's a wrong notion everyone is carrying out. It is not true. Everyone tends to have examination anxiety at one point or the other point. Some might having before the exam, some may be having during the exam, some may be having after the exam, like tension of results. How much will I score? Did I pass or not? All those questions kind of tend to raise their anxiety. But what happens is during examination anxiety, as discussed earlier, their concentration and their level of answering questions decreases. So because of this, they'll have a fear like, no, examinations are not for me. They tend to avoid examinations. They tend to have a phobia for examinations. And it also happens that first examination might not have gone well for them. They might not have done well. So for that, it also has an impact on the next examinations. It reduces their motivation for the next examination. They think that, no, this is not for me. I didn't do the exam properly. And because of that, also they tend to have some negative emotions, sadness, depression also sometimes, and even some guilt also that I didn't prepare well, so I am not able to answer these questions. So because of this also, they tend to have much more anxiety. And even already talked about that, it tends to reduce concentration because they have so much of thoughts around them, right? Whether I'm doing it correct, is the answer wrong? Even all these things can happen during the examination also. And it so happens that sometimes students, they have certain problem in decision making when they are anxious compared to when they are calm. If they have a option, like they have to answer question one or two, among one they have to answer one, but they tend to have difficulty in making decision there also, and they also tend to make small silly mistakes, like if there is a formula to derive or write it, they may do some other thing and come back because they're not able to decide something. So all these things can happen. And also so much of physical discomfort happens. Imagine like very anxious, students' hands are shaking, they're sweating, they're having some headache, stomachache issues. All these also tend to affect the way students perform in the examination. And if students didn't prepare well or didn't thoroughly revise their concepts, they think, okay, I am not confident in this particular subject, I'm not able to do well. So even this tends to increase their anxiety, and this in turn leads to a diminished confidence. So this is a kind of cycle. So we need to understand how to break the cycle. So let us know in the next slides how we can break the cycle.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for these points. And I'm sure if the teachers and parents are watching, they are going to take care of these points. If any of these physical things that they notice in their children, then they're going to take care of their anxiety issues. Thank you so much, ma'am. My next question is to Uma ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to tell us that why exactly does anxiety happen? What are the causes of examination anxiety in schools, and is it that common, ma'am?
Yeah, very good question. And all of us know in the system of education there will be examination. There will be a situation in everybody's life they have to undergo the exam. Still then they show the anxiety due to various reasons. And let us see what causes the examination anxiety actually. So the students, due to this, in this generation, there are too many distractions for the students, and because of which they also have exercised some poor study habits, and they have the lack of preparation, and they feel themselves that even if they have prepared so well, then they have the fear of failure, and there will be some past test performance which hinders them to go forward, and most importantly, they themselves set the unrealistic goals for them, depending on their previous good record and results. So instead of having a good study habit and prepared preparation for the examination, setting a goal depending on that only helps the students. But when they deny all these things and they keep their goal very ambitiously, then they will go with the anxiety. They feel anxious during the examination, before the examination, and sometimes after the examination also they feel anxious about their results, and they worry several days prior to the test about their performance, and start thinking about how their performance will be instead of studying well. These are all the causes of examination anxiety. Along with them, we have in our society a tendency that if at all a student is giving class 10 exam or 11 or 12, everybody will be seeing their watching them closely, maybe their relatives, maybe their classmates, maybe their siblings, whoever all there in their near society, they will be watching how this child is managing education and study habit. So whenever they want to take a break, they feel like everybody is watching me. If at all I am moving here and there for a while, will there be a question arises from their peer group whether I am doing it well or not. So succumbing to the pressurizing that others exert on you, on the student also will cause examination anxiety. Not only the siblings or friends or classmates, even the sometimes parents also will be the cause for the child's examination anxiety. We'll move on to the next slide. So coping strategies, how to cope with the strategies. So for this, I have 5 A's where acknowledge your study habits, how you are planning, and appreciate whenever you are the child is doing better. They also need appreciation, and the appreciation may be from their classmates, teachers, and parents, and sometimes self appreciation too. And eliminate and alter the study habits, alter the way of preparing for them for the examinations, and some things are there to avoid also. We will go in detail in the next slides.
Okay.
So how to reduce the examination stress is let the student has to manage time management. They have to some students will be very much interested in learning a particular subject, and some students are weak in a particular subject. They have to manage, so in which they are good at, have to give time allocation must be very less, and in which they are struggling to understand or struggling to get through the examination, they have to spend more time in that subject. And not only that, in a whole day, how they are utilizing their personal time apart from the school time or preparation time, that impacts so much, and they can reduce their stress by giving proper time to the subject according to the subject and level of their understanding. And if at all they are having any issues with a particular subject, they need to go to their particular teacher, and seek the support which is readily available with them from the school. And one more thing they can do is break the test into small crunches, and try to attend those exams. And whenever you are doing well, then go to the next level. So in that way, break the test and reduce the burden on yourself. And then balanced lifestyle. Nowadays, there is much difference between a student who is going for examination. The home atmosphere also completely into a change, that the student has to go through a particular lifestyle, like get up early and going to bed early. But some students are very much have the habit of reading at their own pace. So we cannot give same style of study habits for each and every student. And study techniques also have a lot of impact on the students' performance, and they need to focus on their habits. Some will be having, some students will learn through auditory explanations, and some go through, some students will understand better through experiments and projects. And some people need more attention and need some special attention towards their all the psychomotor skills altogether. So in this way they have to jot down what kind of student are you, and they have to jot down, and they have to plan accordingly. So if at all they are having any issues with the particular subject, they have to initially they have to try to understand whatever is given in the book, and then go to the teacher if at all they are not understanding, and still they have anything else to be addressed. Then they can go and learn. Nowadays technology is giving much understanding at some level, that through artificial intelligence and online labs. For language also we have labs. For science, physical science and chemistry also they have online labs through which they can learn. And they need to have a positive mindset that I am going to do well in this test. That will motivate them towards learning more.
Absolutely. Ma'am, thank you so much for explaining all the points that how to reduce examination stress, and not just the students, the parents and teachers also, I'm sure they're going to take care, and there are certain causes, and you also shared the coping strategies, so they're definitely going to be helpful for all our viewers. Thank you so much, ma'am. Shweta ma'am, thank you so much, Uma ma'am, for being with us today. It was wonderful having you. Because of the time constraint, we cannot move ahead further. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the viewers as well for being a part of this program. And we're wrapping up this particular program, but our next program is also a special program. Then that is a series on school leadership development. So please watch it on eVidya channels. With this, we're wrapping up this particular program, but we have an announcement for all of you. CIET NCERT is happy to announce the All India Children's Educational E-Content Competition for this year. If you're a teacher, teacher educator, student or independent educational e-content creator, we invite you to send in your best e-content for the competition. For more details and registration form, please visit the activity section of our official website, that is ciet.ncert.gov.in, or scan the QR code on the screen. The last date for sending your entry is 20th of January, that is tomorrow. So all the very best, and please share your entries. Thank you so much and have a great evening ahead. I'm Tanvi Khurana and I'll take a leave of you. Namaskar.
सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।